Yeah. Welcome. I am your host with the most. So have a toast, Lita Johnson. We're gonna talk on Foul Leader Sports. Welcome. Thank y'all for being here. Listen, you tuned in. Get live, man. Get live. All right. Uh, First thing I want to say is that Eagles is here, man. Eagles, man. Bird gang. Bird gang all day long. All right. I'm an Eagle fan. It is what it is. But let's really talk about how these guys doing. Like first thing I want to say, Jalen Hurts it's been a lot of ups and downs and ins and outs about Jalen Hurts. We was on Blitz Take last night. I got in late, and Cool Cat did the great honors of bringing me in for Blitz Take. Shout out to Alex Wright and Steve Ross. I'm the thing I want to talk about is that the Eagles. I want to say it once again. You had to be patient. You had to be patient, man. You had to be patient, man. I don't really get it. Like everybody knows that AJ Brown was hurt. Then Diontae got hurt. So what did y'all think was going to happen with Tampa Bay? It was definitely a positive. Now I was thinking that. Now don't get it twisted. Me knowing how good the Eagles was, how they are coming into the season, I thought it was to be a coaching. The coaching would take over, and it just wasn't able to do it. And that's able to happen when you don't have your main weapons. So if we're talking about the Eagles right now, it's just so solid and surreal to see that Saquon Barkley is with the Eagles. That's the first thing. Like for real, don't Eagle fans feel like, oh my God, we have Saquon Barkley? We got Saquon Barkley? It's crazy. So the first game started 34-29, okay? 22-21, Falcons, we could have won it. Yes, this, that, and the football. We didn't have AJ. I think that would have been a 30-point game. With AJ, that's a 2-3 touchdown difference. I'm telling y'all, when you have AJ in the game, it's like with Barkley, his impact, that's a 2 or 3 touchdown difference. When he's gone, that's a 2 or 3 touchdown minus. That can happen. So then you go to the Saints. We still don't have AJ. 15-12. Once again, the defense been playing solid all year with the exception of the Buccaneers. I mean, think about it. I mean, 29 points to Packers, but everybody know the Packers was one of them teams. Okay, that everybody had they have the high hopes for now, and they're playing good now. And then you look at the Falcons. 22 points. I mean, that was at the last minute that even happened. If it wasn't for that, they'd have been in the teens. Then you look at the Saints. They had 12 points. 12 points. Buccaneers, we didn't have nobody there. So it's like the defense for the first time was getting the trial being the sole possession of the team, the sole important part of the team. When you don't have the receivers or the offense to give you the momentum or like to kind of like, be there to be there for the defense, and they had to be like the Ravens in 2000. That's hard to do. And that's basically what they had. Jahan Dotson, they had Paris Campbell. There was no way. I thought it was going to be a Dotson game, but he wasn't ready yet. And Paris Campbell, man, if Dotson ain't ready, Campbell ain't going to be ready. Then you got the Browns. Now, see, this is when stuff started over. Here comes AJ. He's back because we haven't lost to them all year. The one record, you're looking at 5-2, but the one record nobody's looking at is the fact that we're 4-0 without it. We're with AJ Brown. 4-0. 4-0 with AJ Brown. Really, they're not saying the real things. AJ Brown and Diontae Smith both playing. We ain't had a chance to have AJ Brown by himself. Don't say AJ. Say AJ Brown, Diontae Smith both playing. We're 4-0. That's how that is. And everybody was like, "Oh, it's not really impressive. We expect them to beat them." Listen, any given Sunday, you can have you can have mishaps and stuff happen. And then look what they did to the Ravens. I said that on Blitz Take. Listen, you look at the Giants. And then they prove to you 28-3. Then what they gonna say? Oh, but the Giants, everybody know they're not. Then you come to the Bengals. And I said it. I said, yo, if they can blow the Bengals out, we're talking Super Bowl. Because we're not saying Super Bowl in terms of, oh, they beat the Bengals. No. Coming into the season, that defense is bar none the best on paper, the best offense in the league. That offense is the best offense in the league on paper. So it was already me predicting them to the Super Bowl or nothing. And then you look at the only question was always the defense. And I always said the chemistry of the defense because they're so young. When did the Kobe Dean be healthy? And we got him to even lead the defense. But he's a big, important part of the defense. And we're going to get to that soon. But okay, we're going to that point, right? And you got Jordan Davis, right? You got Milton Williams. You got BG back. You got CJ Gardner. You drafted the top two corners in the draft. You not only that, your slot corner looks like it's the number one corner. And Coop has been a game changer. Ever since Coop has stepped into the defense, it's changed the defense. Also, you just can't say Coop. You got to say Nakobe Dean, ever since he really turned it up, Jesus Christ, like ever since Nakobe has, the more and more he's played and the high level and momentum he's played, the defense, Nakobe and Cooper are the two people that have changed the defense. And then we also started touching the quarterback. You got to touch the quarterback. All right, Jalen Hurts was 16 for 20, 236 yards, 95.6 quarterback rating, 132.5 rating. Saquon Barkley was 22 rushes for 108 yards, 4.9 yards per carry. Jalen Hurts had 37 yards rushing. You look at 85 yards from Devontae Smith. You look at 84 yards from A.J. Brown. You look at 58 yards from Kyle Katerra. Jesus. Zach Bond with 12 tackles, another double-digit tackle game. 8 solo. And you get Nakobe Dean with 7 solo. A tackle for loss. Quarterback hit. Like Kobe Dean, ever since college, I knew that he can rush the pass. He can really rush the quarterback. And then Zach Barnes, I remember him in the Big Ten, but man, he also can rush. They got 2 middle linebackers that can headhunters. Reed Blankenship 8 tackles. Darius Slay 4 tackles. Pass defense, both of them. Cooper DeJean 3, another pass defense there. Tackle for loss, playing big time at the slot. Brandon Graham has been playing good for be his age, man. It's crazy. Nolan Smith getting to the quarterback again, 2.5 in the last 3 games, 2.5 sacks. Isaiah Rodgers had a good play. Cooper DeJean had a great play against Jamar Chase. C.J. Gardner-Johnson getting that interception. And I remember Lord Brunson, shout out to Lord Brunson in the show, man. Y'all go follow him, watch him on YouTube. He said that Quinyon Mitchell, my boy get too excited, man. He get real excited and say some stuff. You be like, huh? Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are the anchor. Cooper hasn't even started since the first game. He didn't start the first game. He didn't start from the beginning of the season. It was Avonte Maddox. There's no way he's the anchor. He's a young man. Quinyon Mitchell's playing good. Now, if you want to say the best player on the defense this year, you can argue that for Quinyon. And Cooper has been a game changer. Ever since he's been in, the defense has been better. The anchors have been C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Zach Bond, no question. C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Zach Bond and Nakobe Dean are the anchors. They set the tone for this defense because if you're looking at it, Cooper didn't play against the New Orleans Saints, which to me was the best defensive performance they ever played. He didn't play against the New Orleans Saints. He didn't play in the first game against Green Bay and make the plays that Quinyon made. Like as great as Cooper had, because let's talk about Coop. Man, Cooper has been unbelievable, terrific, lights out, hands down. But the anchors of a defense are the voices as well as play. They impact it more than just playing. They get the team involved. I mean, TJ Gardner makes that secondary better just by being the voice. He is the voice. Without him, there wouldn't be no growth. Slay is another guy. You talk about anchor the defense. You talk about how bad he played in some of them games, but Slay is still a veteran voice, no matter through his slumps. Then he had to sit out ever since he came back from injury. He's been a different cornerback. He's still the guy that has been helping Quinyon, been helping Cooper. That's what you need. Nobody's talking about the veterans. So those are the four anchors. Before you can get to Quinyon and Cooper, you have to go to the men who really set the tone. Brandon Graham. Those are the anchors. Those are the anchors. You can't even say Jalen Carter is the anchor right now. You have to say the guys who are there mentally and physically. That's the anchor. That's why Brian Dawkins was so loved. Because Brian Dawkins was voice, energy, all that. But Quinyon and Cooper have been the absolute game changers this year for the defense. Absolute game changers. Because of how Quinyon playing, when we were thinking Isaiah Rodgers, I know we talk about Devin White, but what about Isaiah Rodgers? He was supposed to be the starter coming in. Quinyon changed everything from the first game. And then Zach Bond changed everything on Devin White's side. Remember it was going to be Devin White? Oh, we're going to put him in there. Zach Bond changed the game. First game, 15 tackles. Listen, that's just what when you talk about an anchor, you talk about mentally, physically, a guy that's a voice, a guy that's there. He amps you up. You don't have to have the best stats in the game. But how he talking, how he impact, how he talking to other players, how he talking to the team across from him, that's an anchor. All right. You're looking at Philadelphia. Also, I look at how Fred Johnson did against Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson, the guy Trey Hendrickson is their guy, right? 4 tackles, but he didn't get nowhere because of Fred Johnson. Man, shout out to Jeff Stoutland and how good he's coaching that team. That unit, that room, man, that's crazy. We're looking at Philadelphia Eagles right now, and I just think it's a surge. It's definitely a surge that's going to happen. It's definitely something that's going to be big. If we're trying to go to that point, let's talk about the Jags. Let's talk about who's coming up. Jags and the Cowboys. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And the Commanders. This is it. I think these next 3 games, the Jags is to recertify and solidify where they're at after they beat the Bengals and people are talking about. You have to listen. Now you're going to this game. You can't go in here and lose against the Jaguars, and then it's going to be more questions. Their 5-3 talk is going to be like, oh, well, we thought. No, they have to go in there, and if they go in there and bash the Jaguars, which I think is going to happen, looking at them in Cincinnati, you talk about their team. No, you talk about the team the Jaguars had. No. We predicted the Eagles to be this type of team that they're being, like the team that went against the Packers. So, to give you a definite go ahead, I mean, they have to go in there and beat the teams that are sorry the way they're supposed to beat them, or the teams that are not on their level they're supposed to beat them. That's what Super Bowl means. And then the defense playing physical at the time wasn't like they lost by a touchdown and they had 28 points to 29 points like they did the Packers, even though that 34 points is like, dang, offense got to be big time. If you got to score over 35 points to beat a team, that's a headache. And they're not even at their best yet. Just wait till this team gets there to their best. That's what's so happy about this. They're just starting to gel. So just imagine when they get locked in. Cowboys, they got to demolish the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, CD Lamb, they got to give them a bad day. I ain't blowing them out. I think Mike McCarthy's a better coach than that. And the Cowboys are a better team than that. They're just not a better team than the Eagles. Like last year, you can go up and down. Is Dallas better or is it Philly? No matter who you pick, Dallas was right there, edging them. I mean, they had a great unit on their roster, but to be absolutely focused and real about the whole situation, this year is done. They don't have a running back. They don't. You say what you want, who you want to. What you say, Royce Freeman, Dalvin Cook. You want to talk about these guys and some other guy? I think do something. I don't know. That's how much you forget who's even in the room. Then who's their other receiver? Then who is there a tight end that's doing something? They just look lost. This is like Dak and who CD and the rest of the guys. And then you're waiting for Micah. You might as well put him at running back. Why don't y'all think? I'm talking about Dallas, but think about putting Micah Parsons at running back. He was great in high school. I mean, even Penn State was like, he was talking with schools when he was going from Penn State to Ohio State, and they were throwing the actual fact of trying to put him at running back. It was actually a thought. So, listen, shout out and listen, Jags. Listen, I don't know who's going to be able to mess with when you got a slot corner that can hold the best corner. The cornerbacks are good, fast, tall, athletic, physical, led by C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is coaching them boys up. Excuse me. Darius Slay, another one. Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, man. Those are the guys. I mean, I know Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper are playing, but Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, yeah. All right, so listen, let's talk about Nova, man. Let's get to Nova. I saw the exhibition game against Robert Morris, and there's a lot I got to talk about. Man, it's a lot I got to. There's things I got to work on. Not being efficient from three-pointer. They have to be that. They have to be efficient. Man. They have to be efficient. Like that's what it's all about. They have to be efficient. Field goal percentage wasn't even efficient. But what I did see that is something to see that I didn't see last year is that, I mean, this is an exhibition game. But how you play is how you play. If you're good, you're good. Eric Dixon was dominating. Eric Dixon hitting shots like it's easy. He hitting shots pulling up from, almost 25, way beyond the three-point line. Eric Dixon is going to be Big East player of the year. He'll be the Big East player of the year, I think. I think there's nobody in the Big East better than him. And then you're talking about Eric Dixon and what he does on the floor, posting you up, going left hand, like going under the basket, dunking. Like, he's really good. Like, he's you could tell he's been in here and he's had his war wounds and he's ready. Saying Jordan Longino, shout out to Eric Dixon and his family. Jordan Longino. Listen, man, I remember when they him in Philly, he was something else in high school. He was a difference maker. He was fun to watch out of high school. And he just been hurt. Me and Coach Lapis talked about it. See the episode of High Level Sports. I had Coach Lapis on there. Shout out to him. Thank you for being on there, Coach. He's been hurt. And now he's back, and he looks so comfortable, man. He looks dangerous as hell. He looks more dangerous than Eric because he's hitting long jumpers. He's bringing the ball up court like a point guard. Neptune, this is the thing that Neptune has done that I feel like this is a great decision for him to do. Neptune says he can bring the ball up. That's what Coach Neptune said. He wants him to have the ball in his hands so he can make plays, and he makes good passes. He did a great pass to Josiah Mosley. That's another guy who looked good out there. Josiah Mosley looks like he can just play. Like, he put him anywhere on the court, he's going to play. Liking the way that it happens. Jameer Brickus as a point guard. One thing he can do is not being talked about enough and emphasize that he can really pass. He's a great court vision. Him and Boxy are creating a chemistry on the court, especially on the go, on transition. You're seeing it. He'll just throw the ball up without even looking. He'll know what box he's at in. It was one pass he threw to him where he didn't dunk it. He just caught it. He couldn't dunk it. But look, they have this chemistry that's going to get better and better as the season goes on. Wooga Poplar, as the season goes on, I'm going to tell y'all about Wooga. Wooga does this every year with Miami, man. He's one of them good guards. And another thing me and Lapis talked about, that was a great pickup, man. That was a real good pickup. They was talking about, he was in the draft process, and they was talking about, like, okay, it was talked about they're going to get Wooga. That was talked about, right? And then all of a sudden, it happens. Here comes Wooga. And Wooga has played in, Final Fours. He's played in NCAA tournaments before. Like, this is a guy you need. He don't need to score all the time. He's going to score. But if he has an 8-point game, Believe me, he's doing everything else on the court that's not even in the stat sheet. Playing defense, controlling the lanes, post you up, boxing out. Like Wooga Poplar is going to have him at guard is an upgrade from last year. He's just that type of guard, and he's the type of guy. It's going to be sometimes where Wooga is going to dunk on you. Wooga going to dunk on you, man. Wooga going to dunk on you. He gonna be good. Him and Jameer Brickers, because Brickers can light it up. Brickers had 41 last year. He had a 41-point game. He can do that. If you tell him green light special, guess what's gonna happen? Green light special. But he's gonna do what you ask him to do. It's a real good team. And Boxy looked like, I mean, I ain't really been predicting, but I've been like, I've been like 8 points, 8 rebounds, 8 points, 9 rebounds. 9 points, 8 rebounds, but Boxy can get a double-double this year. He looks real active. He's with a team that can take the pressure off him trying to be, because at Fresno State, he had to be the main guy or one of the most important guys with the ball in his hand. But no, that's not it. That's not it, man. Now you got other guys like Dixon, Longino, and Poplar are the 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna talk about that. And so now he can just run around and be active and box out, and it's gonna make them a way better team with him helping with Dixon in a post with rebounding and getting that ball back. It was a time when they played Robert Morris where they was getting a lot of offensive rebounds on one offensive drive that was missing a couple of shots, and they was getting all the rebounds back. Look good, but shout out to that Nova team. I just think this team, it's going to take some minutes. Just like I said about chemistry, it's going to take a minute. If I got to talk about Nova and where they're at, it's being the Wildcats. If I got to go at Villanova, because right now they go against Lafayette on the 4th. They go against Lafayette on the 4th. We're going to get right to that, okay? They go against Lafayette. And November the 4th, Lafayette, we get to see a game with these guys, and I don't think Lafayette is going to be a team that they're going to be worried about. I think this is good because also the women's team has Wake Forest. Both teams weren't teams that were impactful, and they haven't really upgraded their point to the point where you're going to be worried about them, because I think both these teams, men's basketball, Wake Forest is going to have a problem with Coach Gillen's team, and Lafayette's going to have a problem with Lafayette. This is a perfect game for them to sharpen their fangs coming up. You got Columbia next for them on the 6th, NJIT before they hit Big 5 and go to St. Joe's on November the 12th. Then you talk about Villanova Wildcats women's team. You got Princeton, Columbia before they go to the Big 5 pen. Then they got Texas A&M. So on 23rd of November. So listen, it's good to have your fangs sharpened. This is going to be real good to see for both these programs. We'll talk more about the women's basketball team later on, but everything looked good. Also, it was one time when they had Sash. They had Sash Giliagolf, who I talked to. We'll have him on High Level Sports real soon. Alexander, Malcolm Thomas, Zazai Mosley. Right now, Hyde is not able to play right now. We'll get more. I'll update you later on another valid leader on that one. But they had Chris Parker. They had the first year guys in there. Chris Parker looked good, man. He looked like he was. You know what I like to see? He was active. He was using his length. You saw what the talent is there. It's there. He can post you up. He can shoot from the outside. I know for sure. He's a good shooter from the outside for sure. I'm talking about this guy is hella talented. Take you off the dribble, a quick, good first step, and he can rise above the rim. He's a hell of a talent to have, and he's going to get time this year between the 2 and 3 probably. I see that. He could play the guard. We already know he was recruited as a guard, 6'8", but he could play small forward and go hard with it. So I'm seeing a lot in that mode. If we're talking about other guys that could play. You're gonna have Njoku. Good to have him back in the boxing. Another guy with size, athletic, rise above the rim. Um, if Hyde gets in there, we're looking at that because if it ain't Hyde, it's gonna be Mosley who get the time at their forward position. I think it's gonna be Mosley. I think Mosley will get that time if Hyde ain't there right now. You still got Malcolm Thomas. I don't think he'll get a lot of time this year, but he'll get time to get to get his feet wet. Especially on some defensive opportunities, especially defense. Malcolm Thomas will be put in there sometimes, small ball lineups. You put him at the 5, and you could put Mosley at the 4, and you could put Parker. When Dumont comes back, that's going to be a great chance for Villanova to. They have a good lineup of size and athleticism that's going to make their defense better. I think that's real big for Villanova. Looking at Villanova, I really like what I see. I was talking with Eric Watkins. He was like, they need to work on some. Of course, they need to work on some things. You still got young bucks in here. You got the 2024 class, who at least 3 of them is going to get some time. You got the transfer class. They all got to get used to it. You got a new point guard. Everything is going to have to get jailed, but man, they look real loose out there. You could tell talent itself is going to win games. Talent itself is going to win games. Let's talk about Villanova women's basketball. I had Kennedy Henry, 2025 recruit. I had her on High Level Sports Talk yesterday. And man, she's intelligent. Man, Coach Dillon makes me want to watch women basketball more. She does. I just want to tell y'all, when she first came in, the crew class that had Zanaya Jones, Lucy Olsen, Christina Doss, was a lot of good girls I'm missing. Caitlin Orhel. That was a hell of a class. Hell of a class. All right, so she just knows how to go and get talent. Her and Neptune, what their master is at is being people persons. Like people love to talk to them, they love to play with them, love to be around them. Now, coaching, that's always a different thing. It's the same thing with Calipari. People come to commit to Kentucky. Well, I have to say it different. It's different but the same. Calipari used the hype of Kentucky, but Kentucky was Kentucky. But the fact that it was a one and done era, and they were the only ones accepting it, Calipari put his finesse on it. Now he's able to talk to recruits. Not only I'm gonna let you play a year one and done, I'm a good guy. Listen to me talk to you. Hey, what's up? I check on you. This, that. Coaches, their personality thing is everything. So Calipari gives you that. And it's the same thing Neptune gives you. Neptune was the man when Jay Wright. People don't know this. Like, y'all sound crazy talking about Neptune's going to recruit. Give him that credit. Now, you want him to coach quick and fast. He wasn't able to be that coach. Neither was Jay Wright when he first came. Neither was Steve Lapis when he first came. Give this man time to make it gel. That's it. And I think this year is the year. He's the first year he had to work back a recruiting class, right? The second year he gets his own transfer class and a little bit of recruiting, but he still was building relationships like he had been doing for years. He's good at that. Now this year he gets his full recruiting class. First full recruiting class, and then he gets a more talented transfer class. Because when I talked to Dwayne Anderson, he was like, man, we want guys who going to come in and we going to impact. We just need – because I was like, what about this guy? What about this? They're like, no, is they impacting? Is they impacting? What did they do last year? And Bakshi is a guy that was a top prospect and one of the top 30 prospects in his class. And he impacted last year for Fresno State. Almost a double-double. Ruger Poplar, man. What are we talking about? NCAA tournament performer. Unbelievable player. Brickus, big time performer for LaSalle. Big time. Was LaSalle. Okay. and you put them in the team, and you bring back Dixon. That was the cherry on top of the cake. But if Longino, let me tell you the X factor. If Longino is healthy and playing like I see him playing, winning the 3-point competition, he comes in the charity game. So every time he's impacting now. If he is that guy, if Longino is that guy, oh, we people in trouble. This is a 26-win team. I think they're a 22-win team regardless. It's just too much of it. I mean, Chris Parker's going to impact. Tyler Perkins, Jesus Christ. This dude, oh my God, man. Remember, he was a 13-point-a-game scorer as a freshman at Penn. Nova knows exactly who he is. Ask him why they know who he is. Dumont played in the international. I can't wait to see how he plays because he played in international competition and did real good. And now he has more experience. More experience is always good. I can't wait to see him on the floor. I can't wait to see what Njoku had. Njoku's a hell of a talent. Hell of a talent. He's the center next year. There's no question Njoku's going to be the center next year. And that's what they're looking to see. This is what's going to be. If Njoku plays, if he shows them what they wanted to see, Njoku is going to be the center next year. If he's not and he's just a backup, they're just going to either recruit somebody or get a transfer. But Njoku has a chance to earn to be the center of next year. And I think he is because they always say good things about him. Dwayne Anderson always talks big about him. Ashley Howard talked big on him last year. So I think they've been trying to groom him and get him in there. And I think next year he's it. I want to talk about who's the starting on them next year. Yeah, who's the starting lineup next year? Waiting it, yes. Sas is going to be the point guard. We'll talk more about that. Sas is going to be on High Level Sports Talk. We'll be talking. Y'all see that he's going to be there soon. Just like David Abbott is also my guest Sunday. Sas is ready to play. He's played at a high level in international competition, a very high level. I know we talked about Dumont, but he's played better than Dumont. Mosley played great in international competition, but Sas played better, and that's a lot to say. Saying what he played over Mosley. Sas can ball. He can really ball. And they said like Colin Gillespie, but I just think he's like Colin. He's not the power type. I think Colin had more weight on him to post you up or boom. He's more of a physical person, but Sas is more quicker and faster than Gillespie is. And he can shoot like him. You know, if you want me to somebody remind you of, honestly, who he reminds me of, don't know if he'll become it, but he will. He definitely will. He has those skills. Steve Nash. The passing ability, to play the lanes, to shoot from the outside. He's Steve Nash. I mean, he's similar to Steve Nash. I mean, put the tapes on. Watch them both play. Steve Nash. He looks like Steve Nash, and he played at Santa Clara in college. It's a real good team to see. Now, who's going to be the backup small forward? Let's talk about the start line. I'm sorry, Sash, and then you're talking about Perkins. That's the backcourt next year. Giliagoff and Perkins. Small forward. That's going to be a battle between Dumont and Parker, but I think Parker wins that. Power forward, I think it's Hodge. There's no question. It could be Hodge and Mosley next year. Mosley is ready. Mosley just seems like he knows where to be, knows what to do when he gets the ball, whether it's pass the ball or knows when to get the box out, get the rebound, knows how to post you up, knows how to take you off the dribble, knows how to cut to the basket and knows where the ball's at. Boom. Like he's effective as hell. And it's going to be Njoku, Hodge. It's going to be that three spot is going to be different. You got Mosley, you got Dumont, and you got Mosley, you got Dumont, and you got that is going to be a very hard thought. We're going to see how that goes. You got Mosley and you got Dumont. Mosley and Dumont. That's something to look at. Mosley and Dumont and Parker. Mosley, Dumont, and Parker. My fault. That's going to be something to look at. Who's going to be their third spot? Because they got a lot of confidence in Mosley. Super confidence in Mosley. Super confidence in Mosley. And I want to check something, man. He's 6'5", 215. Where are we at? And then you're looking at, you got to understand, like Longino's a senior this year, but he has one more year of eligibility. If Longino can come back, that's huge. That's huge. That's very huge. Longino, I think he comes back. I think it's not even a question. Unless Longino, he's going to have a big year this year. And this is a real talented draft in 2025. And he's going to have to weigh his options. Dixon weighed his options. But you were able to come back and get an NIL deal to get some more money and still go to the NBA and do what you're going to do. You got to look at what's your stock? Like, where am I going to be drafted? Okay, if I go back, is it going to hurt my stock? You got to have all these questions you got to think about. Is it going to hurt my stock? Am I a first-round pick? Where will it stop me from being a first-round pick next year? And some people will take that. Let me take this money and still go and come and play in the G League or maybe get drafted. So now when Longino, I think Longino, the way he's playing, he looks at 15 points a game. How comfortable he looks at scoring the ball, he looks like 15 points a game. And I see the same thing for Dixon. I don't want to go too over. I'm trying to be right, but definitely looks like both of them can score 15. They can score the same type of points a game. They both can hit you from the outside. They can post you up. Longino can score. He can pass. He's going to get more people involved. He's going to head the ball a lot. So he could be the leading scorer. So I'm looking at Longino definitely next year. Next year, Longino, if Longino shows what everyone knows this year and comes back next year, he'll be in the first round conversation next year. This year, he can have a big season and not be in the first round conversation, but either be undrafted or be second round. Where I think Dixon is, as a 6'7" power forward, people love those, man. He's experienced. And because of what Villanova has built on reputation, he from a late first round to undrafted. Everybody like, oh no, I'm just telling y'all, man. That's what I don't think. There's no way in hell Dixon should be undrafted. But the way the game is now, and who could come into the draft, the Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey draft, Dylan Harper draft. A lot of people are going to be pushed out. So they could make the mistake. There's been a lot of mistakes made of people not being drafted. They could make the mistake and not draft Eric Dixon. They could make that mistake, y'all. I'm not saying what he is. You can't judge the draft like you used to. You can't say if he's a second round, but you got to be realistic. It depends on how many underclassmen are in this draft. How many underclassmen and international players are in this draft that are considered first round picks. Decides who's going to get drafted. That's what happens. That's what happens. Who's coming over from the NBL that's going to be in this draft? Now, who's coming over from Overtime Elite? Who's coming over? You have to see that. It's different aspects now. That's why the NIL gets the upper hand. Because now you could be like, all right, I can go get this money because it's not no for sure thing I'm going to get drafted. Who knows if I get drafted? I know what this agent's telling me, but he might be wrong. Wooga came back from out the dress. A lot of people that did that. So that's how that's going. So I just feel like, and then you're looking at next year's bench, Diontae Allen's going to have there's lots of big plans for Diontae Allen to come in right away. They don't need a backup. They need a rotation of guards. He's 6'3", 200. A winner can shoot. He's going to get immediate time. 2025, and it looks like Nova is looking for a big man. I said Tamar Brown. Remember when they got him? They didn't invite nobody to Hoops Mania in the 2025 class besides Diontae Allen. Seriously, they didn't invite nobody there. So, but there have been things popping up. There have been things popping up about Nova. Big things popping up about Nova getting a center. So you have to put this in, put it in to talking, you know what I mean? Like that, yeah, man. I mean, they're looking for a center, because they don't have one. They got Malcolm Thomas, but he's not a true center. We're talking about somebody with size. Jeremy Jenkins, a teammate of Diontae Allen, has received a Villanova offer. He's received a Villanova offer. We'll just see how that goes, though. Everybody wants to know who Jeremy Jenkins is. A guy, he's been lighting it up for a minute, man. He's just one of those guys, um, one of those players that can play, that can really ball out. We're talking about Villanova. I knew they was going to go hard at the 2026, 2027 cast. This gave Miles Fuente, another guy. Jenkins is a power forward, 6'9", 245, trying to get some size. Trying to get these boys playing like men. Playing like fuck. Like, listen, man. I love the way they're recruiting each other. I love the way they're doing. I love the way they're playing. Fuente is his teammate. That's his teammate. 6'1", 150, point guard for 2027 class. So they're starting to get the 2027 class. They're starting to get guys who have chemistry with each other, starting to get guys who played together. And, they're trying to get guys who can recruit each other. I think that was a smart move, super smart move, no question. Very smart move. Nova is starting to turn up the juice on recruiting. And that's going to be huge too, because listen, they got to make it happen. And I think the urgency to start getting chemistry, even coming into the team, is something that Cal Neptune does, is looking at. Now, if you're looking at Nova, we're about to talk about Kenny Henry soon, because we're about to go to the women's team. Man, the women's team, really something to look at. But Nova is another guy that's being looked at as a possible center prospect for Villanova. And this guy's a player, man. This guy's a player. T. Bartlett, 4-star. T. Bartlett is another guy, another super player that can ball out for him. I mean, you got to look for a big man. I told you about big men. And T. Bartlett is part of the 2025 class. He's part of the 2025 class. T. Bartlett for overtime elite. That's a big, if they can get T. Bartlett in there. He's number 76 in the country. He's number 58 by 247 composite. Plays for overtime elite, one of the elite Georgia prospects, and at 6'10", 274. If somehow either Tamar Brown or T. Bartlett ends up in Nova, man, just that two-man class, because they don't need too much. They got a good transfer class. You got Chris Parker. You got Tyler Perkins, which was kind of like giving you some more players for the 2025 class. So T. Bartlett is another guy to look at. T. Bartlett is another guy. Tamar Brown and T. Bartlett are two names to watch out for in the 2025 class. Tamar Brown visited Villanova. He met with Jay Wright. See, Tamar Brown and T. Bartlett, two guys to look at. Now, the women's team. The women's team. I got a lot of love for Coach Dillon. Man, just what she's done is kind of like, it's like good for TV, man. I've never been that interested in a women's basketball team for Nova like I am with her team. Ryan Allen, Danae Carter, Lara Edmondson, Jalea Green. All right. Bronan Power Cassidy. These are all people that transferred to Nova. These is big time. So especially Jalea Green. Jalea Green's the one I'm looking at. 5'10" guard, senior out of St. Louis. Lara Edmondson, another person right straight out of Australia, 6 foot, can shoot the three. Denny Ciceretti, freshman, that good freshman class with Denny Ciceretti, Rachel Wirtz, and Jasmine Bosco. Real good freshman class. Both Neptune and Dylan had good freshman classes. I'm excited to see all these people play. Caitlin Orhill, I said it, is the Bella Ryan of this team. I said it on Twitter. There's the Bella Ryan of this team, the veteran that can do a lot, that plays big, can shoot from three. She's going to have a big season. Bryn McCurry. I've been waiting to see Bryn McCurry get down and play. Then you got Rachel Wirtz, the freshman, that's going to – they got people that's going to be able to contribute and people that's going to be able to be there to continue playing. Jasmine Bosco, you know what? I don't know who the point guard going to be, man. That's interesting. There's no smaller person on this team than Jasmine Bosco. That's one thing. So, and we're looking at point guards. Who's going to be the point guard? I don't know I think mark my words. I don't know for sure, right? I don't know for sure. But Bosco could be the point guard off rip. You got Danae Carter's going to be one of those forwards. Very big situation, very big case where you look at Danae Carter. It is very, very. You got Burke and Weber. At guard, it could be Weber and Bosco. I think those are the best ones. If you're looking at talent, if you're asking me, I think it's Bosco and Weber. That is crazy. Then you got Danae Carter and Lara Edmondson. Or it could be Orhill. Well, Orhill's a guard. I think Orhill could back up. She's 5'10". She's a guard. But would she play? Would they put her forward? But looking at it's definitely going to be Carter. And I think it's really hard. Power Cassidy is going to get their time. Power Cassidy is a different monster as a scorer. So Power Cassidy and Danae Carter could be right there. And as a center, it's going to be Bryn McCurry. Bryn McCurry is the center. So Power Cassidy, Danae Carter, Jasmine Bosco, and Maddie Weber. But I think that might not be the case. Bosco, I don't think she's going to brush her freshman in like that. So as a point guard, that's what I'm trying to say. Who's the person that's bringing it up? Who is the person they're going to have? They're going to have Maddie Weber as the point guard with Power Cassidy at the shooting guard position, Danae Carter, Lara Edmondson, and then you put Bryn McCurry. That could happen. That's experience. That's good to have. I'm just saying that could happen. Ryan Allen could be next to Danae Carter. I think Danae Carter starting regardless. I think Ryan Allen, she's 6'1". You put size in there. It's a real good team on paper. I'm not disrespecting. I'm just saying I have to be realistic until they play. If they're all their first year, can they all gel quick? Can they gel quick enough? They was a 22-win team next year. This is what makes you exciting about this team because, you know, Coach Dillon can coach teams up quick. And they had 22 wins last year. They almost made the tournament. It's going to look big here. So, listen, at Wake Forest, look for that. Then when they play Penn, when they get to Penn, we're going to see when Big Five plays start happening. When they play Penn, Villanova women's basketball plays Penn. And when the men's play St. Joe, that's going to be huge. Villanova versus Hampton. Man, listen. That was a big win against New Hampshire because that was a crazy loss. That was a crazy loss against Maine. It's one thing to lose, but Jesus Christ. Like Jesus Christ. I don't even know what to say about that. But they came against New Hampshire. It was a homecoming. It definitely proved who they were. And I give them all that was big. 6-2. Now you're going against a 5-3 Hampton. Hampton, man, let me tell you about them. Hampton, Hampton been putting up some points. Hampton been putting up points. So you got to kind of think about it, man. You talking about they're like some soldiers out there, man. They 5-3, but they are a team that can put up points. They got a great running attack. They got like 3 running backs. It's 4 touchdowns and over. 2 of them got 6 touchdowns for one. We got to definitely the guy that you got to watch out for in the running back rushing attack is Elijah Burns, 4.1 yards per carry, 488 yards. He's the leader, but he has 4 touchdowns. But the one guy that's super dangerous is Jaquan Snipes, 6.2 yards per rush, 6 touchdowns. Tamir Robinson, 6 touchdowns, 4.5 yards per carry. Chris Elliott how is this going to go? Their leading quarterback is Malcolm Mays, 779 yards, 71% from the pass completions, 9 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Chris Elliott is the good dual threat quarterback. He has 245 yards. So the key for Nova, they have to stop the running attack. That running attack is picking up all the yards. Their leading receiver, Brendan Ridley, is 444 yards. Looking at where Nova is right now, you look at 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions only. But like I always say, man, Connie Watkins just has to get more accurate, man. That's what's separating them from right now and being at the next level. But right here in college, he only has 2 interceptions, man. What are we talking about? He don't make mistakes as far as interceptions, but he just like completions. David Abbott, 556 yards rushing, 6.5 yards per carry. Isaiah Wrangler, 357 yards, 5.9 yards per carry. Jabril Mays, 140 yards, 5.2 yards per carry. 8 catches, 406 yards, 13.3 yards per catch. Man, Mace. I know we talk about Abbott and we talk about Ragland, but man, Mace is impressive. I mean, he's a hell of an all-around back. Very hell of an all-around back. Devin Smith is doing his thing. This is what they got him for. 24 catches, 206 yards. Great catch last week. 12.8 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns. Jalen Sanchez, 260 yards receptions. 260 yards receiving. Lucas Kopecki, shout out to him. He's been doing good. One of the veterans on this team showing up. They still got Lopez. They still got Luke Daly. They still got Miles they can throw to. Kobe has the size. Shane Hartzell, Brendan Bell, and Richie Kimmel. But Hartzell and Bell are just having a season, man. Both of them have 2 sacks, 74 tackles for Hartzell, 65 for Bell. They're having a season, man. They're out there forcing fumbles, recovering them. Ethan Potter. He's just really showing up, man. Hell of a cover guy. Hell of a run stopper. One of those guys. Jalen Goodman having a good season. 35 tackles. Ty Trenny. Aiden Howard. They just got to be consistent and stay consistent. Stay on it. The leading sack on this team, Nigel McSweeney. I keep saying the man's going to be a star. He's going to be one of those guys you got to watch out for in the future. Everybody going to watch out for. Still got Chuck Smith. Still got Novodo. Christian Sapp. His team is it's going to be a surge about to happen. It's going to be probably late in the season where they're going to come up and they're going to have that type of game. But Hampton, they got to stop Hampton from scoring. They got to stop from scoring. And all they got, I'm telling you, the big part of that is that it seems like their rushing attack has been able to give them a lot of leeway. They got to stop that. Now listen, soon we about to check out of here, man. Great to have y'all on Follow Leader, man. I'll be on Broad Street Blitz Take with Cool Cat, Connors, Alex Wright, and Steve Roth. Definitely high level sports talk. We got a lot of guests coming up, man. I'm always trying to give y'all the scoop, the inside. I'm always going to have a lot of shows out, man. I'm always going to stay hard working for y'all, man. Hardcore Sports Network. This is what we do. Now I'm out. Leader Johnson. Listen, once again, this is your host with the most. So have a toast. Leader Johnson, man. Great talking. I mean, it's been a good sports year. It's gonna be more stuff happening. So listen, y'all. For my next when I come back on my next Follow Leader Sports episode, we'll talk more. It's gonna be after the Villanova games. We'll talk about when the women's play too. So we're gonna come back and we're gonna get it in. If I don't, you know me, man. Sometimes I do break-ins, man. I do breaking games, so we don't never know. But for sure, you're going to see me at the Nova and them play. So pay attention. I'll be here, man. I'm out.